Hey everybody, welcome back to Life Below. It is Monday and it's time for another recap of 911. It is season 3, yes, episode 12, and it was titled Fools. All right, y'all. So it opens up with a 911 call, and it was the same idiots. Remember last season, or was it this season, earlier in the season, where the 2 or the 3 dudes was doing like viral videos and stuff like that, and one guy put the freaking microwave on his head with some cement or some shit, child. So it's them dudes, child. So they, of course, doing another viral video. This time it's on a merry-go-round, and they trying to make it the merry-go-round, the scary-go-round. So they got a motorcycle. One guy sitting on the merry-go-round, and I think it was the guy who had his head in the microwave. So he's sitting on the merry-go-round. They put the tire to the motorcycle up against the merry-go-round, and the motorcycle wheel is going. So the motorcycle wheel is just going. So it's spinning the merry-go-round. So it's spinning. Child, why the dang old motorcycle caught fire? So they can't turn the damn motorcycle off because it's hot and it's on fire. They call 911 talking about it's a random fire in Hacienda Park. We don't know. We definitely don't know how it started or whatever like that. They just leave the guy. The crew show up. The guy's still twirling. He's still twirling. So who knows how long this man was spinning around on this goddamn merry-go-round. And the shit is going fast. Pew, pew, it's fast. Child, they put the fire out. They stopped the motorcycle. He knocked out. So he done passed out or whatever. Because he just had to see it down. They pull him back. This man eyeballs was bulged out. I said, oh Lord. He looked like he was dead, okay? I was like, oh my God, they didn't kill this boy. But he wasn't dead. He just was like unconscious or whatever like that. His eyes like bulged out. Like, ugh. So, they was like, oh my God, it's like G-force or something, the G-force speed or something like that. And it made him unconscious. They get like numbing drops. They putting IVs in him and stuff. They numbing his eyeballs up so they can push. Ugh. Oh, that was so gross. They was like, oh, it's something about eyes. Oh, Lord. Eyes, vomit, and feet. Now, I can deal with feet a little bit, but not too much. But vomit and eyes, oh my God, that just, something about it. Oh, and like trachs and the spit and stuff. Oh, that sound. And, oh God. Oh God. It's just, I can't. So when they was like pushing his eyes in, I was just like, oh God, I can't watch. I cannot. Something about messing with the eyeballs, that just freaks me the hell out. But they pushed his eyeballs back in. He wakes up and he was like, oh, I can see again or whatever. And they was like, who did this? And he don't say nothing. Buck and them like, I think I know him or whatever. They looking at him like, what? They look up and they was just like, well, where the guys at? Child, they still in the damn corner recording this whole damn thing. Cap, like, I think I know who. He called Althena. She get them and lock them up or whatever like that. And they live streaming it or whatever. And they was like, well, you can't upload this unless you have our permission and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh no, it's just for a party of one. They was showing the friend what they locked him up and all the other stuff. The dude was like, I really need new friends. I was like, you think like now you want to, child, they didn't put your head in a damn microwave with cement. Stupid. Anyway, they showing like the next scene was a card showdown. Maddie and Buck, they was playing poker and stuff like that. And Buck thought he had Maddie, but Maddie won. She had like a royal flush or whatever. And so Josh is there, and so it was Josh, Chimney, Buck, and Maddie. They there. So Josh was like, oh, thank you. This is so much fun. I'm glad you invited us. And they was like, yeah, because we thought we just, bring the solo people. The couples was doing stuff. And he was like, oh, come on, don't rag on us solo people. So it was cute. They was just both, Buck and Josh was talking about how hard it is to find dates and, date and stuff like that online. And then come to find out, Buck was like, well, where Albert at? He was like, oh, he on a date. They was like, what? He just got here. He already finding somebody or whatever. And we solo dolo all the time. But anyway, next we see Eddie and Carla. they doing like a parent teacher night thing, and you know, going to all the teachers and stuff. And Carla's like, look, beware of all the teachers' bad jokes. Child, they was having bad joke after bad joke. The one that cracked me up was the whole chemistry teacher. She was like, I usually give chemistry jokes, but I don't usually get a reaction or some shit she said. I was cracking up. Me and my daughter was cracking up. Anyway, we like corny shit. But anyway, Eddie went to see the English teacher. She is pretty. And so as soon as Eddie saw her, he was smitten or whatever. He was just like, yeah. And she was just telling him how, you know, Christopher was like a good student and like Eddie's doing a good job and all this other stuff or whatever. And Carla, when they left, she was like, oh, what was up with Dad? And he was like, what you talking about? I'm a good dad and stuff. She was like, no, I'm talking about the googly eyes y'all was having between each other. He was like, I mean, you know, she pretty or whatever. And she was like, I saw y'all too. You know how Carla is or whatever. Then we see the next scene with Althena. She in the hospital, you know, and because she got called there because it's a gunshot victim or whatever. Comes to find out the gunshot victim was shot 3 months ago. She didn't even know she was goddamn shot, y'all. I think they're like, what? She didn't know she was shot. The lady got a real bad short-term memory. She don't remember the doctor name from like 5 minutes ago. She write down everything in this little notebook and stuff. And the husband, she said, was at Pebbles Beach or something like that on vacation. And they like, like what's going on or whatever. And she was in denial, like I wasn't ever shot. I know the doctor say, who doctor? And it was like Callahan. Yeah, him. I know he said I was shot, but I wasn't shot. And it was like, well, we saw it on x-rays. She was like, yeah, I know what y'all saw, but I think those is the wrong, somebody else's x-rays because I wasn't shot. So she don't think she was shot. She don't remember being shot. She don't know nothing about being shot. Althena talking to the other detective, and she like, I think it's the husband or whatever, because you just never know who you marrying and whatnot. So they investigating into that. Then we see Eddie, he rushing into the school or whatever. Christopher that fell off a skateboard, child. Carla was there talking to the English teacher. And Carla was like, well, you ain't had to rush up here. And Eddie was like, look, I need to come up here because my son got hurt. Like, what is he cussing out, but he fussing at the English teacher like, you supposed to watch him, why you ain't watch him or whatever. You know he got CP, he can't do all this X, Y, and Z and stuff. And so Christopher come out, he all bloody and stuff. I said, oh, look at little Christopher. He done skinned himself all up, child. He embarrassed. And he apologized for messing up his clothes. And Carla like, boy, I'll just bring you some more clothes. Eddie like, the school day over. He just flung Christopher over his arm and carried him off. I said, what in the world? So he all extra, whatever. Then they get to the house or whatever. And Carla was like, we see Eddie, he on the phone. He fussing out the principal or whatever, and the principal, he got off the phone with him, and Carla like, well, what kid getting ringed up in the school line tomorrow? And he was like, well, he's talking, the principal talking to the kid, they's going to talk to him or whatever about this whole skateboard thing. And so Carla was like, well, we're going to talk to the child that was actually on the skateboard who did it. And he was like, for what? Like, why I'm talking to him for? Like, he should, you know, like the guys, he thinking that the kids forced him on the skateboard and was teasing him or bullying him or whatever. Because he was like, yeah, make fun of the CP child. That's what he said to the English teacher or whatever. And Carla was like, well, you need to talk to him or whatever. And so, talk to him about his limitations. Eddie was like, I'm not going to talk to him about that. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because in his head, his son can do everything and anything. But in reality, I mean, like, he can, but it has to be modified or whatever. And we saw that later on in the episode. But, he go out to talk to Christopher because, you know, Carla making him some lunch and stuff. And Eddie was like, what did he say? He said something about like he's sorry that they put him on that skateboard or whatever. And Christopher was like, well, it was my idea and stuff. And he was like, what? He was like, well, you told me I can do everything or anything that I wanted to do or whatever. And he was like, you lied to me or whatever. So he mad at Eddie because he thought he could get on the skateboard and do what other kids do. But like I said, he just needs modifications and stuff. And so he mad because he fell. And of course he embarrassed because he fell in front of the whole school and stuff like that. So they had their little moment. Then at the call center, we see Josh. He's talking to Maddie, and he was saying like he reactivated his dating app, and he met this guy, the guy he been talking to for a little bit, and they got good chemistry. He all excited, they going on a date and whatnot. And Maddie like, good, I'm happy for you or whatever. But he's like, he don't want no one night stand. He want a long-term relationship. And Maddie was like, everybody has their perfect match. You just gotta look for yours or whatever. So she excited that he going on this date. Then we see this whole Tinder, it looked like Tinder type thing. And the girl, she 27. She was talking about how she just reactivated her dating app and how she looking for love and how she don't want to regret opening up her dating app again. Then we see the guy, Gary. He 28. And he's talking about how he, is looking for dating and all this other stuff. Then they said they was a match. It's their first date, child. So the thing said they are a match, their worst date ever or whatever. So, and it was just like popping up like little text things or whatever. It looked like one of those shows where, I forgot what show that was, where it was like they was on a date, but people like made comments while they was on a date. I forgot what show that was, but they looked like something like that. Child, they kissing and stuff. The girl, you can hear her stomach rumbling and stuff like that. So she was like, well, okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom. She poops. What that thing said, she broke the first date rule. You supposed to poop before the date and after the date, but not during the date. I said, they is stupid. But anyway, she pooped. Why she stop up the goddamn toilet, child? So the toilet is overflowing. She steady keep pushing. I said, oh God, you don't do that. She keep trying to flush and flush and flush. All you doing is making the water rise. He ain't got no plunger. She keep looking at the toilet. We was like, I hope she do not stick her hand in this goddamn toilet. No. She get a towel, scoop the poop up in the towel, go to the window, try to throw the poop in the towel outside the window. She drops it out there. It gets stuck on the ledge, child. She tried to get out the window, and it's not like a regular window. It's like a half window here, and then a whole something here. But I don't think this part open, just this part. So she goes and tries to open up. She squeezes through this part to try to get the towel. Of course, she gets stuck. Child, she gets stuck. She can't get out. She must have screamed or something because the guy called 911 is like, where do I start? The crew gets there. They can't get into the bathroom because she done locked the door. So it's people on inside his apartment and then half the crew outside on the ladder, just making sure she gonna be stable when they pull her out or in or whatever. Child, they kicked the door open. She somehow, when the ladder went up, the poop fell down, almost hit Hannah in chimney. They was like, oh God, what happened? What the hell's going on? Anyway, they ended up having to cut her out the goddamn window. She like, oh my God, he probably don't want to ever see me again. And Buck, he trying to make her feel good. Well, no, because Eddie was chatting with this one girl. He cussed her out. And, no, he was in love with the English teacher or something. He done cussed her out and made her feel bad. And so he probably done ruined that. She'll probably flunk his son. So I was like, Buck, not helping. Anyway, they ended up pulling the lady out and stuff. And then she like, I know you don't want to, talk to me no more. I'll just call a Lyft. And he was like, or you can stay. So they were still like cute and stuff like that. He still wanted her to stay and stuff. It was funny. Next thing we see Buck and Eddie chatting over beers and stuff. And not Eddie. Buck was like, at some point kids call their parents liars or whatever. And so Eddie feeling down on himself because he was basically telling his son like he could do everything and he really couldn't do everything and stuff. And Buck was like, look, it's this baseball player who had one hand, but he was still one of the greatest pitchers or whatever. He just learned how to use his opposite hand. He just practiced until he got it or whatever. So, Eddie was thinking, but he was like, well, he can't really practice on a skateboard. But he, his wheels was turning. Then we see Althena. She brought, what's his name, child? the daddy. What's the daddy name? Henry? No, that ain't the daddy name. What's the daddy goddamn name? Y'all know the daddy name. May and them daddy. I can't think of his damn name. But she brought him groceries and stuff, and he like, what's going on? Why you bringing me groceries and stuff? She was like, cause I just want to help you out and stuff. But she had some ulterior motives or whatever, and she was telling him the story about the lady who got shot in the head and stuff, and he was like, well, did they find him? You think it's the husband? And she was like, yeah, I think it is, because you just never know who you marry and stuff like that. And then she was telling them how they got the bullet out, and they thought that the lady was going to have some deficits because the bullet was being removed, but it turns out she was just fine. So he was like, I see what you're doing there. I see what you did. I'm not getting this surgery, because she wanted him to get the tumor out. She like, well, you was just a fool, so you just waiting to die. And he like, look, I'm about to go do radiation therapy again. It's going to, be okay. And she was like, well, what if it don't work? I don't want to see you die and stuff. And he was just like, I'm not going to die, whatever, and so forth. They got the ballistics back while she was there, and she was saying like the bullet belongs to a gun that the wife owns. So they was kind of thinking like, what? And we was like, was she trying to kill herself or something? Like, what's going on? But anyway, we see Josh, he going on his date. So they in a cemetery, child, watching a movie in a cemetery, like an old movie with the writers who wrote the old, some creepy shit. But they watching a movie in a cemetery. The dude, I was like, oh, he cute or whatever. Child, they on a date, they talking and stuff. He done brought wine and snacks and all this other stuff. They go to the back. Well, no. The guy was like, oh, you want to go make out? I heard that such and such grave is here and blah, blah, blah. And so he takes Josh to the back, like behind the rest of the people or whatever. He get back there. It's another guy there. And Josh like, what's going on or whatever. And the dude was like, it took you long enough for some shit like that. And the guy that he was on a date with was like, I'm surprised that you didn't pick it up or whatever, because of what you do. You ain't pick up on none of the clues or whatever. And then he punched Josh. I was like, the fuck is going on? So then they beat him up. Like they beat him up and then robbed him. I said, oh my God, this is some fucking gay bashing hate. Like, what kind of shit? Like, who just goes on fucking dating apps to date somebody and then you get the date and then you want to beat them up and all this? Like, come on now. What kind of child? People don't make no... And you know what? This shit probably happened in real fucking life too. And this is some fucked up bullshit. Like, really? You going out your way to date somebody, make a whole profile to date somebody, go on a date to beat them up? Like, that's fucking ridiculous. People need to get a goddamn life. But anyway, they beat him up. Somebody must have called 911. He goes to the hospital and stuff. Maddie gets there and she like, oh my God, his whole face was swollen and cut up from this dude beating him up and stuff, like from the guys beating him up. And of course he was scared they was going to kill him, because like, child, the cops come try to take a statement from him. He was like, well, can we just do it tomorrow? Can I just go to the police station tomorrow and stuff? And they was like, okay, no problem. He was going to stay over at Maddie's house. He told the damn detectives, or the cop, he ain't know who beat him up. I'm like, what? Josh, what the hell is you doing? And Maddie's thinking the same thing. Like, what is you doing, Josh? Like, what do you mean? You saw his whole face or whatever. She ain't say it in front of the cop. She waited till the cop left. And he was like, well, he don't want the world to know that he got played and want to be embarrassed. I don't give a fuck. Like, you need to tell this man, because I know this man doing this shit in the TV world. Whatever. But I know this man is doing this to other people. Like, if you don't stand up and say something, because he done did this before. This not his first time, because he knew this shit would work. So he knew what to do. So this not his first time doing this. So he gonna keep doing this over and over again until somebody says something. But Josh was like, it won't be me. He don't want the world to know and call him a joke and stuff. I said, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Next scene, we see Althena and the detective. They go to the lady house and they just like looking around and stuff like that. The husband wasn't home. Child, why the neighbor? Because they said something. She all eavesdropping and shit. Because they said something about her house was tidy or something. She was like, So she out there doing, she was like, what? I'm just doing my yard work and stuff. And they was like, yeah, your lawn look real nice and stuff. She was like, yeah, thank you. I'm out here all the time and stuff. And I'm the president of the neighborhood watch. And, so they asking her questions about the couple. And she was like, well, I wave to him occasionally and stuff. I don't really like Joan, but their husband, I was thinking it was just because he was working all the time. But when he retired, I realized I really didn't like him. Whatever. So she was saying like, he retired early and then they do like a late divorce or whatever. So she was telling about the contractor, how they had like some work done to the house like 3 months prior. Oh, because she was like, are you here for the break-in? And they was like, break-in? What break-in? And she was like, well, y'all kind of late, ain't y'all? The break-in happened 3 months ago. And they was like, what? We ain't know nothing about no break-in. And then she was telling about the contractor. Because she was like, the contractor told me everything. They had some stains or something. They did the floor. They did the wall. They did all this stuff. And she was like, what? And so she goes inside she inside the people's house talk about what window got redone and stuff. And she was like, well, I got it listed right here where this happened and stuff. And she was like, you want the contractor phone number? I got that too. I said, child, I want her as my neighbor, but then again, I don't want her as my neighbor because she be knowing all the goddamn business. All of it, child. So, they go to the hospital or whatever, where the lady at. The husband there. What happened? Oh, Athena was asking the lady what happened. She was like, you had a break-in and you remodeled the living room. And she was, because they wanted the husband to leave. And she was like, no, he can stay or whatever because I'm bad with my memory or whatever. So, he can stay. She was like, we did remodel the living room. Why we remodel the living room, honey? I can't remember why we remodeled the living room. And so she was like having flashes and stuff because they removed the bullet. The bullet was causing her memory loss, her headaches, all that other stuff. So she having flashes now, her memory coming back a little bit or whatever. And she was like, why do we remodel the living room? What's going on? And he was like, well, we and it was like you was taking down the decorations and stuff. She was like, no, we usually take our decorations down before New Year's Eve or whatever, or after New Year's Eve or something. And they was like, okay, but and so she had something about a rug, and she was like, what happened to that rug, honey? What? And so then she really had a big flashback of what everything that happened. They was arguing. She was asking him to take down the wreaths off the wall and stuff like that. And he wanted to pop slick and get smart and all this. He had an attitude for no goddamn reason, it seemed like to me. He was just bugging out because she was asking him to do stuff, and he's retired, so he wanted his time to himself or something stupid. Like, she just asked you to get up on a fucking ladder and take the goddamn wreath down. What's the problem? But anyway, he wanted to throw her gnome, break all her crafts and stuff. And I was like, nah, you going too far. He breaking all her stuff. He throwing over the table. And she was just like, you know what? Fine. Whatever. Like, I thought your retirement was about us spending more time together. But like, whatever. I'm your wife, so you stuck with me or whatever. So then he sees the gun that came out her purse when he pushed everything down. He picks up the gun and shot her. She falls down or whatever. And I guess he never take her to the hospital or nothing, child. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. Did he patch her up or something? Because she didn't even know she got shot for 3 months. I don't know. Because if they would have took her to the hospital, they would have did a head CT or something, and they would have found the bullet earlier. So he must have patched her up and kept it moving and stuff. And he's gonna tell her, because she was like, you shot me. Like, why the fuck would you shoot me? Like, you shot me and stuff. And he was like, well, I don't know what came over me. Me just thinking that I would be stuck with you for 31 more years in that house with you. I just snapped and like, what? Like, you couldn't have just divorced her or something like that. You want to shoot her? Like, boy, bye. So he was like, he tried to make it up to her or whatever. And she was like, you got to go. They was locking him up. And she was like, you was telling me it was all in my head. And I guess it was because you put it there. And she was like, he played me for a fool. And Athena was like, yeah, he did. But you got the last word or whatever. He going to jail and so forth. I was just like, that's some crazy ass shit. You going to shoot the lady because... what? And I really would like to know what the hell he did. Like, he must have just patched her up and kept it moving because... child. What do we see? We see Eddie. He's sitting down with Christopher. Christopher he was, getting breakfast ready for him to go to school. Christopher was like, he don't feel good. He don't really want to go to school because he embarrassed and stuff. And he was just like, I know you're upset about the other day, and I shouldn't have really told you that, you can do everything, because everybody can't do everything. You can just do what you can, or so forth, or whatever like that. And he was like, you may not be able to do what I can do, but you got other talents and stuff like that. Because did he go back to talk to the teacher at this point, or this was after? Yeah, I think he had went to talk to the teacher and apologize to the teacher. And that's when the teacher had told Eddie, like, he may not be able to ride skateboards or like that, but he can write a world novel or something, she said, or whatever. And that's when Eddie wanted to talk to, I forgot. I don't know where that part was, child. Where that part was. Or did I just... Oh, no, I was right. I was right on the path. He had talked to Christopher first, and then he talked to the teacher. But anyway, he told Christopher, like, look for stuff that you can do or whatever. Just because you have CP doesn't mean that you can't do everything. You may not be able to do stuff the way other children can do stuff, but you still have talents and can do stuff like that. And that's when Eddie went to talk to the teacher and apologize to the teacher or whatever like that. Then we see Josh. They done threw him back like a welcome back party and stuff. He was nervous because he thought Maddie told what happened, but Maddie was like, you told me not to tell anybody. And she was like, and I don't understand that. Like, you need to tell. And she said, like, he been doing this to other people and stuff. And he was like, well, I try to find him on the app. I can't find him. He's a ghost or whatever. He don't want strangers to know what went on with him or whatever. Like, Josh, I hope he changed his mind later on, because that's ridiculous. But he said he would deal with it in his own way, and then he went on there, went back to helping people and stuff like that. And then they show like a little, recap of stuff. The couple with the whole date, she brought him a plunger or whatever. So I thought that was cute. Then the lady, she went home. The neighbor came over with like a casserole so they can like talk or whatever like that. And then we see Eddie, Buck, and Carla. They taking Eddie took Christopher to the park, and Buck and Carla was there with like this like not a safety skateboard, but like some kind of skateboard where Christopher can like get inside the mechanism, and then like they can push him and stuff, but he could still be like on the skateboard. So it was like a whole different method of him riding the skateboard and stuff. And he looked like he was having a good time. They was having a good time, and that was how it ended or whatever. So that's the episode. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Y'all know I love this show, child. So I'm going to keep watching and keep reviewing it or whatever. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about the episode. If y'all like this review, go and hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to be notified for when I drop new stuff. All right, y'all. Ooh, I gave y'all a video under 30 minutes. Ooh. Anyway, y'all, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.